What's up guys? In today's video we're going to be using the spot healing brush tool to edit our photos. I'm going to show you guys how it works, all the different versions of it. So let's get right into it. Alright, so we have our new Photoshop file. As per usual, I am going to drag and drop my image that I want to edit here into Photoshop. I have this absolutely iconic photo of Obama posing up with a sign. I'm going to stretch it to be a little bit larger, so I have more area to work with. So the spot healing brush is this one right here on our toolbar. It kind of looks like a little band-aid with a handle attached to it. I like to think of it. It's right above the paintbrush and below the eyedropper. We can click and hold. We have a whole bunch of different versions of it, but for today I'm just going to focus on the regular spot healing brush tool. And before we start, let's check out the settings up at the top. Right here, we have our cursor's size and all the settings with that. You can make it smaller or larger depending on what you want to do. Next up, we have our blending mode here, which 99% of the time I just keep on normal. If you want to explore and check out what the other versions do, be my guest, but I'm just going to keep it on normal for today. And the most important part is the type of spot healing brush we're using. I'm going to show you guys what all three different versions of these do. So let's get started with the first one, content aware. So now I'm zoomed in on my subject. I'm going to take the text off of this sign here, but before we can edit, when we click, Photoshop will ask us to rasterize the image so that we can edit it. So I'm going to click OK. I'll go over and draw over the area that I want to replace, and when I let go, bam, it is just gone. The content aware part of this tool got rid of the areas that we wanted to replace. You can see right here I have a little fragment of what was there. You know, it doesn't look quite right, so I'm just going to go over it again to get it to look how I want. And I'll go and do the rest of the sign. So that looks pretty good. Zoomed in like this, obviously you can tell that it has been fudged with. It doesn't look quite right, but from afar, it doesn't look bad at all. It looks perfectly fine. Now, when I was just using the tool there, I did each letter little by little, and that's for a reason. I'm gonna undo all of the things that I just did and do it all at once and show you what happens. If you do everything at once, Photoshop tends to go quite overboard, so I stick with doing it little by little. That way I can better control what's going on. So I have it all selected there, and let's see what happens. Yeah, as you can see, it replaced it with all leaves from over on the right. If I do it again, it's gonna keep trying. So that's why I recommend just doing it little by little instead of doing it all at once in a big blurb like that. Now let me undo it once again and do it right this time. So now that I have my sign back being blank, let's check out a different version of this tool. If we go up to the top, I'm gonna go over to the create texture version. Now for our editing today, this won't be super useful in this context. I use this version of the tool to create extra bits of background and sky and water, as you'll see, because it creates texture in areas that were otherwise flat colors. So with this area of flat brown and white, when I do that, it blends it and makes it all textured looking. It'll blend the area selected and make it all textured. So obviously in this context, not super useful, but this is a useful tool for editing so that you can make areas of your photo that you added to look more realistic. Lastly, let's check out the proximity match version of this spot healing brush tool. This version of the tool will use other parts of the image to replace where you selected. I'm gonna go over the post of the sign and let's see what it does. So as you can see where we replaced the sign, we've got a little bit of Obama's hand and the sign there. It directly used parts of the image to replace this part of the image. I'm gonna go over it again. As I go over it little by little, we're replacing this area that we're selecting with other textures, other pictures of the leaves and branches from around the photo. And it's slowly coming together better and better. I'm pretty happy with how that looks, so I'm going to keep it there. So that's going to be it with this quick video on the spot healing brush. I use this tool all the time for a plethora of reasons. It's a staple in my Photoshop repertoire. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.